Welcome to the Wife Stories YouTube channel. New video every day, and don't forget to subscribe. Here we go.
The morning light on a strange face. At first, I can't tell if it's a reflection in the window or some dream sneaking into my vision. Then I realize it's a man's face, half in the golden glow of dawn, half buried in the pillow. He's lying in my bed, and he's not me. I stand frozen in the hallway, and I hear quiet breathing, the soft creak of bed springs as someone shifts. My mouth feels dry, but I taste cheap whiskey on my lips. Last night's leftover attempt to heal the loneliness. I was supposed to return home from a work trip on Thursday, but I came back early. A whim. A yearning to see my wife smile in the morning sun. But here I stand, looking at a stranger's cheek against her pillow, a tuft of hair out of place. That morning beam hits him, hits her hair spread across the rumpled sheet. Their clothes are strewn on the chair. Hers, a blouse she never wears for me. His, a crisp shirt and slacks that I've never seen before. Even from here, I catch the faint smell of cologne, sharper than any scent I own. In the hush of the early hour, I can't move. I just stare at them. My feet feel nailed to the floor, and my heartbeat thuds in my ears. For an insane moment, my mind tries to piece it together. Maybe I'm in the wrong house. Maybe this is some bizarre mix-up. Then reality hits, cold and certain. I see the little stuffed owl on the nightstand, Sarah's nightly companion since college, and the photograph of us from a trip to the Oregon coast last year. My hair was windswept, her cheeks sunburned. We'd been so happy that day, standing on the rocky beach. That photo rests next to two naked bodies tangled in my bed. He stirs, mumbles something. She moves closer to him, her legs sliding along his. My stomach twists. I don't want to see more, but I can't unsee it. Shadows cross their bodies, and I catch the shimmer of sweat on her shoulder. My breath shudders. Something pulses through my veins. Maybe rage, maybe heartbreak. It's so strong that I nearly stagger. I step back, quietly as I can. The hallway feels like a tunnel. My mind is screaming, yet I can't push out a single sound. I reach the front door, step outside, and stand on the porch. The air is still chilly, and the early morning sun spreads across damp grass. Birds are chirping. The world is so normal, but I'm not. My entire sense of self cracks. I look at my hands. They are trembling. I drop into the driver's seat of my car and slump forward, pressing my forehead to the steering wheel. My pulse won't slow down. I'm sweaty from a wave of panic. I turn the key, start the engine, kill it again. I can't drive away. Or maybe I can't find the courage to walk back inside and do something. Shout, throw him out, demand an explanation. My father always said a real man protects what's his. But at this moment, I feel like my father never prepared me for this. I think about punching that man. But a voice inside me just says, you can't fix what's already broken. I take a swig from the flask in my glove box, whiskey from a cheap brand. The burn reminds me I'm still alive. Then I lean back against the seat. The image of them in bed sears my mind so brightly that I want to tear out my eyes. I'm not sure how long I sit there. 10 minutes, maybe an hour. At some point, the front door opens. I see him stepping out, shirt half-buttoned, hair messy. He's adjusting his collar, looking over his shoulder, probably saying something to her. She's in a light robe, crossing her arms over her stomach. They exchange a quick word. I catch the shape of her lips forming something that might be tomorrow. Then he nods, heads down the path to a glossy black sedan. I realize I'm slouched low in my seat, hands shaking on my lap. He doesn't even glance in my direction. He gets in, starts the car, and drives off. When I look back at the doorway, she's gone. The door is closed. She has no idea I'm here, or maybe she thinks I'm miles away, due back tonight. A numbness settles over me, heavier than any physical blow. I switch the engine on, drive away before she notices my car. I drive around aimlessly for hours. The city wakes up, people running errands, kids heading to school. My phone pings with messages from work about some upcoming meetings. I ignore them. My mind is filled with a single question. How did it come to this? Eventually, I circle back to the house. I don't remember the route, just the throb in my temples as I grip the wheel. The driveway is empty. She must have left for her job. I push open the door to the living room, step inside. Everything looks normal, as if the house itself is mocking me. The sun streams through parted curtains, illuminating the same couch Sarah and I used to cuddle on. The same pictures line the walls. The same faint smell of her perfume lingers. On the coffee table, a half-finished mug of coffee with faint lipstick on the rim. The color is new, dark red. I've seen that shade in magazines, but never on her lips for me. I stand there, a swirl of emotions raging in my chest. It's quiet, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. Then I catch sight of the bedroom door, open a crack. The sheets are tossed, pillows askew. There's an imprint of two bodies, an outline I can't unsee. I approach, half in a daze. On the bedside table, a note scrawled in her handwriting. Call if you need me to pick up anything. Sarah. A normal note, the kind she'd leave if she was stepping out for groceries. My mouth twitches in something that's definitely not a smile. I want to confront her. I want to text her in rage. But I can't. My mind is blank. My phone buzzes in my pocket, but I barely register it. There's a sound of the mail slot clattering in the front door. I step out of the bedroom, noticing the flush on my face. I open the door. A man in a postal uniform nods, lifts a certified letter, and hands it to me. I sign reflexively. He's cheerful, but I just nod, close the door. Then I see the sender, County Court. Confusion sets in. I tear it open. Inside is a legal document, a petition for child support. My name is on it. The petitioner's name reads, Alex Griffin. My hand starts to shake again. As I flip through the pages, I see references to paternity tests, sworn statements, a pending hearing. My wife's name is in the details, a mention of a 3-year-old boy. The final blow. DNA results confirm the child's biological father to be the petitioner, Alex Griffin. My legs nearly give out. 3 years. For 3 years, I believed that little boy, my boy, was mine. I taught him to hold a spoon, to speak his first words, to giggle at silly faces. I carried him on my shoulders through the park. And all along, Sarah told me he was ours. She never hinted otherwise. But now, some stranger named Alex Griffin claims legal paternity. More than that, he's demanding child support from me, the man who's not the father but has been fulfilling the paternal role. This is a twisted joke. I read on, scanning phrases like best interests of the child, financial responsibilities, previous paternal acknowledgement. My head swims. The document is official. The test is conclusive. Inside me, something tears. That man in my bed this morning, he's not just a random fling. He's the father of a child I raised as my own. I drop the envelope and it scatters across the floor. The living room spins. I can hardly breathe. I don't remember rummaging through the drawers, but suddenly I have a black marker in my hand. I walk to the mirror in the entryway, the one Sarah and I picked out as newlyweds. My reflection looks foreign. Eyes bloodshot, hair disheveled, jaw clenched so tight it hurts. I uncap the marker, press the tip to the glass. A single shaky line appears. I scrawl words across the mirror. Here died a husband. I stare at them. They look raw, almost deranged, black letters on reflective glass. I exhale a ragged breath. When Sarah comes home that evening, I'm in the kitchen, the court papers neatly arranged on the table. I haven't eaten all day. I just sit there, half drunk from the whiskey, though it does nothing to soothe my insides. She opens the door, calls out my name with that usual lilting tone. Then she sees me, sees the papers on the table. Her eyes go wide. She stands there, silent, shifting from foot to foot. I can't form words either. Finally, she takes a step forward, glances at the top page. Her face crumples. I see her lips move, but no sound escapes. She's trying to speak, trying to explain, I guess. Her hands tremble as she reaches for me, but I jerk away. I feel no urge to scream or break things. I just stare at her. She looks small, lost, a tear sliding down her cheek. I recall the morning image of her in bed with that man. That taste of whiskey on my lips returns, acrid. She sits across from me, tries to speak, whispers something about a mistake, something about how she never meant it to go this far, that she was terrified, that she thought I might leave her if she told me the truth. I feel my heart pounding, but the anger is locked behind a door I can't open. We sit like that for what seems like hours. At some point, tears stream down her face. She tries to hold my hand. I don't let her. Finally, I push back my chair. I walk down the hall. She follows, calling my name. She sees the words on the mirror. Her eyes fill with panic. I see her reflection now, devastated, shaking. I don't say anything. I step out the front door, letting it close behind me. I leave my keys on the side table. My legs move stiffly, my chest tight. Outside, the sky is darkening. The streetlights flicker on. A neighbor waves from across the street, oblivious. I get in my car, start the engine, drive away with no destination in mind. That night, I check into a rundown motel off the highway. The neon sign flickers. The room smells of stale cigarettes. I drop onto the bed, still in the clothes I wore all day. When I close my eyes, I see them in my bed again, in the morning light. I see the bold letters of the paternity test. My mind replays every moment I spent with that little boy, my son, or so I thought. His laugh, the way his tiny fingers curled around mine, the time he called me Dada while clutching my pant leg. I feel a choking sensation in my throat, but no tears come, just a numb heaviness. Days blur. I try going to work, but I can't focus. I see pity in my colleagues' eyes when they notice my hollow stare. At night, I pace the motel room, swirling whiskey in a plastic cup. It doesn't dull anything. My phone buzzes with messages from Sarah. Apologies, please, confusion. She says she never wanted me to find out this way, that she didn't plan for that man to claim paternity. Something about how Alex insisted once he realized I wasn't the father. But every text is just static to me. She begs me to talk. I keep the phone on silent. The following week, I find myself parking across from our house. I choose different spots, sometimes near the old oak, sometimes farther down the street. I watch the windows at night. A single lamp lights the living room. Then it goes dark. I see Sarah's silhouette pass by the drapes, pausing at the window. She looks toward the road. I imagine her waiting for my car to pull up, for me to come inside, for some sort of resolution. But each day, I drive off. She's always left there, alone with her guilt, I suppose. I can't bring myself to speak to her. Instead, I swirl in this grim cycle of watching from a distance. It's twisted, but I'm not ready to let go completely. I haven't filed for divorce yet. I haven't denied paternity. I haven't done anything but run and hide in motel rooms. I find a cheaper motel eventually, close to a truck stop. It's dingy, but the manager doesn't ask questions. He recognizes a broken man when he sees one. Some nights, I drive back to that same street, rent a random motel closer to the neighborhood. There are several small places near the interstate that overlook the subdivision from a distance. I park in their half-empty lots, lights off, just staring at the house where my entire life once had meaning. I see her routine. She switches off the living room lamp around 9. She steps outside to check the mailbox, even when there's nothing to check. She lingers, scanning the street. Maybe she hopes to see my headlights. Sometimes she stands there, arms crossed, like she's trying not to shiver. Then she goes back in. Every single day feels like a final chapter to me. And in every final chapter, she loses a little more. I discover that Alex visits occasionally. The same black sedan appears in the driveway. Not every day, maybe once a week. I watch from a distance, a coil of sickness twisting in my gut. He steps out, sometimes with a plastic bag of groceries or a toy. He knocks, goes inside. The door shuts, and my imagination torments me with images of them. They might be arguing, or maybe not. Maybe she's leaning on his shoulder, confessing how her life is ruined. A time-sharing guilt. I wonder if the child is with him or if the boy is with grandparents. I can't make sense of anything. One evening, I see them step out together. She looks exhausted. He looks tense. They talk by the mailbox, gestures abrupt. I catch Sarah brushing tears from her cheek, while he rubs his forehead. Then he leaves. She stands there a long time before turning back inside. Work demands I visit my father in a neighboring state for a big corporate event. I drive 5 hours in a near trance. My father notices something off. He tries to ask me questions, but I stay silent. I catch glimpses of his concern, but I can't bring myself to confide in him. How would I even begin? Dad, I discovered my wife was cheating for years. The child I thought was mine belongs to another man. Now that man wants money from me, and my entire sense of identity is in ruins. No, I don't have the strength for that. When I return to the motel in the city, the manager hands me a sealed envelope. He says a courier dropped it off with my name on it. My stomach sinks. I tear it open in my room. It's more court paperwork, listing a hearing date, referencing the child support case. Sarah's signature is on a separate line, acknowledging the father's petition. The official language is thick, but the gist is clear. They're dragging me in front of a judge, presumably because for 3 years I've been the functional father. The system wants me to keep paying. The ultimate betrayal. Not only do I lose my family, but I might also get stuck footing the bill for the man who fathered the child and the wife who lied to me. I slump against the wall, let the documents flutter across the motel bed. A numb rage builds inside me. It's not enough just to watch from the car. I need some kind of closure, or maybe revenge. I pick up my phone for the first time in weeks. I call Sarah. It rings. She answers, breathless. Hello. Michael? Is that you? I can't form words. I end the call. But she knows I tried. An hour later, I see messages flooding in. She begs me to meet her, to talk. She says she wants to fix this, as if it can be fixed. A day passes before I muster the will to respond with a single text. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. at the coffee shop by the old market. She sends back, I'll be there. We meet. She's already sitting with a cup of tea, hands wrapped around it like she's freezing. I sit across from her. Her eyes are swollen from crying, face pale. She tries to speak, but I hold up my hand. The ambient chatter of other customers forms a backdrop, distant and muffled. I say, you and Alex. How long? My voice sounds foreign to me, as if some stranger has taken over. She bites her lip, glances around, leans forward. She mumbles something about 4 years. My jaw tightens. That's longer than the child's age. The timeline hits me. She was with him before we even decided to start a family. She was with him while we celebrated our anniversaries. I close my eyes, fighting nausea. She starts to explain. It was an accident at first. I never meant. He was an event organizer for a friend's wedding. He was charming. I was lonely because you were traveling for work so much. She exhales shaky breaths, tears welling up again. I got pregnant, and I couldn't tell who was the father. I thought it must be yours at first, but then the timing. And I was so scared to lose you. He insisted on a test after the boy was born, but I begged him not to push. Eventually, he did another test behind my back. Her voice cracks. He waited until now to file. I had no clue. I swear, Michael, I didn't plan for any of this. I never wanted him in my bed again. I tried to break it off, but he threatened to reveal everything if I didn't. She breaks off with a trembling sigh. I say nothing, just watch her eyes flicker with guilt. Her words swirl around me, but they don't erase the images burned into my brain. Then she grabs my hand, and I'm too numb to pull away this time. "I love you," she whispers. "I made a terrible mistake, multiple mistakes. But I love you. I want to make this right. I don't want him. I need you. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it." I quietly pull my hand free and stand. She looks up at me, face drenched with tears. I open my wallet, drop 2 bills on the table, enough to cover her tea and any food if she orders more. Then, in a calm voice, I say, "You do whatever you have to, but don't expect me to be part of it." I walk out. The door chimes overhead. I don't look back. In the following weeks, the lawyers keep pestering me. My phone rings. The court sends letters. I don't respond. I can't handle the dance of legal obligations. Meanwhile, I keep up my nightly vigil, though I'm not sure why. Maybe I want to see the moment she breaks, or maybe I want to see if she'll leave with him. Something about standing on the outskirts, watching, gives me a perverse sense of control, like I'm rewriting the final act in my head. Sometimes I see the child. My mind stumbles over that word, child. He's not mine, but the memory of him grabbing my hand, calling me daddy, or throwing a toy at my feet is too strong to ignore. From a distance, I watch her usher him into a car seat in her sedan. He's bigger now, hair a little darker. He must wonder where I am, why I vanished. The thought rips at me. One night, about a month after I left, I see Sarah standing on the porch with the boy. He's wearing pajamas, clutching a stuffed animal. She points out toward the road, probably telling him something about me. Maybe that I'll come back, that I'm just away on business. My heart clenches. For a second, I imagine stepping out of my car, walking across the street, kneeling to look him in the eyes. But I can't. I only manage to grip the steering wheel until my knuckles turn white. I watch them go back inside. Days pass. I feel more dead than alive. My life is an endless loop of half work, half despair. The motel is a pit, but I can't bring myself to rent a better place. I feel I deserve this grime, this half-shattered existence. The whiskey bottles line the nightstand, though each new burn in my throat tastes more bitter than the last. Then comes the day I find an envelope slipped under my motel door. Inside is an official letter stating a court date. Failure to appear may result in judgment. It's tomorrow morning. No time to dodge. I slump on the bed, run a hand over my face. Something in me snaps. I rummage through my clothes, find the marker I used on that mirror. I hold it, staring at it like it's some kind of totem. My chest tightens, and I think about the words I wrote. Here died a husband. Maybe tomorrow I'll make those words official in the eyes of the court. I throw the marker in the trash, toss the letter on the bed, and decide to go for a drive. Aimless as always, but this time I end up in front of the house again. Twilight settles in, the windows glowing with a soft orange light. I see a silhouette moving inside. Then the front door opens, and Alex steps out. He locks up behind him using her keys, like he owns the place. My pulse spikes. The final straw. Something ignites in me. I get out of the car before my fear can stop me. My feet pound against the pavement. Alex sees me halfway up the driveway. His eyebrows shoot up, and he steps back. I stand there, my fists clenched. He looks momentarily nervous but tries to hide it behind a condescending smile. "So," he says quietly, "you finally showed up." I don't speak. My mind is a storm. Part of me wants to smash his face in, let loose every drop of rage. But a heavier, colder force holds me still. I notice Sarah's shape behind the window, peering out. She rushes to the door, opens it. The boy's voice calls from somewhere inside, but the words are muffled. Alex shifts, glances at Sarah. She's watching us, eyes wide. He steps closer, his voice low. Look, man, I never wanted it like this. I just did what any father would do. My lawyer said. I cut him off, stepping forward so my face is just inches from his. I sense my breath trembling. Stop talking, I manage. He meets my stare but doesn't push. In his eyes, I catch a flicker of fear, or maybe pity. Michael, Sarah's voice calls from the doorway. She sounds desperate, like she's about to sprint over. Alex half turns toward her. I see the tension in his shoulders. He's ready to defend himself or her if I lash out. But I don't. I feel oddly calm, like my emotions have bottomed out. I give him a slight shove, enough that he stumbles back against the porch rail. Then I walk around him, step past Sarah, and enter the house. She gasps my name, tries to grab my arm, but I pull free. The place looks the same as I left it, except for a scattered puzzle on the coffee table, evidence that the boy was playing. I see a half-eaten sandwich, a child's jacket on the couch. I see the mirror in the hallway, still bearing my scrawled message. It's faded but readable. I linger there, staring at my own reflection behind those words. I look gaunt, haunted. Sarah edges up behind me, tears in her eyes. The boy stands by the living room, clutching the puzzle box. He sees me, and a flicker of recognition lights his face, though he's confused. Dada, he says, voice uncertain. The single word stabs me. My breath catches. I let my eyes close, and for a second, the old love surges through me. The memory of picking him up, pressing him to my chest, feeling his heartbeat. But that memory belongs to another life. I turn to Sarah. She's trembling. We have a hearing tomorrow, I say quietly. I'll be there. After that, I'm done. You can keep the house. You can keep everything. I don't want it. My voice cracks on the last line. She clutches my arm. Michael, please, she whispers. He needs you. I need you. Her tears are unstoppable. She tries to pull me toward the boy, as if bridging the gap will magically mend what's broken. But I resist, stepping back. Alex has come inside now, standing behind her. I sense his presence like a shadow. My gaze shifts to the child. He's wide-eyed, uncertain. The puzzle box drops from his hands. Pieces scatter. He looks from me to Alex. My heart feels like it's ripping in half. I want to comfort him, but something in me is locked. I can't do it. My fatherly instincts are overshadowed by betrayal, confusion, the knowledge that his real father is standing there, probably more legally entitled to him than I am. I swallow hard. My voice drops. I'm not his father. Then I step toward the door. Sarah pleads behind me, voice ragged. Alex just stands there, tension filling the space. I open the door, glance over my shoulder one last time. My gaze meets the child's. He's so innocent. He doesn't deserve this, but I can't fix it. I walk out into the night. Outside, darkness drapes over everything. The air is cold, but my skin feels like fire. My heartbeat drums in my ears as I cross the street, ignoring Sarah's voice calling my name. I get into my car and drive away without looking back. The court hearing the next morning is a blur. People speak in calm, professional tones. The judge looks tired. Sarah is there, eyes rimmed with red. Alex stands with his lawyer, stiff-backed. Their side references the child's welfare, the potential for child support, the complexities of paternal acknowledgement. My attorney tries to protect my interests, says I was misled. The judge listens, expression unreadable. It ends with a series of steps. More tests, more paperwork, possible obligations. The judge sets another date. I walk out of that courtroom feeling hollow. Sarah trails after me, but I don't slow down. Alex is on his phone, presumably updating someone about the outcome. I step into the busy corridor, nearly collide with suits and briefcases, and keep going until the sunlight outside blinds me. It's midday. I breathe in the crisp air, trying to quell the dizzying panic. Then I hear her voice behind me, soft and broken. Michael, wait. I turn, see her on the courthouse steps, face blotchy from crying. I know you hate me, she says. I know you want to vanish. But if there's any part of you that still cares, she stops, swallowing tears. He thinks you're his father. He's calling for you at night. I want to say something cruel, or maybe something comforting. But nothing comes. Instead, I walk away. She calls after me once more, but her voice fades behind the city traffic. Weeks pass, and the legal wheels keep spinning. I keep living in motels. My mind gets stuck in an endless loop of regrets. The child support claim is uncertain. We're in limbo waiting on a formal resolution. Some nights, I check my phone and see messages from her. I delete them, unread. My father calls, frantic, but I can't talk to him either. I've become a ghost, a shell of the man I was. One late night, I stare at the battered reflection in the motel window. The whiskey's half gone. A flicker of memory surfaces, me teaching the boy to hold a spoon, guiding his tiny hand. His laugh, the way Sarah smiled at us both, a look of love in her eyes. Was it all a lie? Or was some part of it real? The question gnaws at me until dawn. Eventually, I find a place across the street from the house, an old bed and breakfast that rents rooms by the night, just up the road. From the second-floor window, I can see her mailbox if I lean out. So I do, evening after evening, watching her slip outside before bedtime. She looks thinner these days, shoulders hunched as though an invisible weight presses down. Some nights, I see Alex's car, but it doesn't stay long. The father of her child doesn't seem eager to play house permanently. Meanwhile, my phone rings. Lawyers. The hearing date is approaching again. The paternity confusion might free me from financial obligations, or so my lawyer claims. He's optimistic I can walk away if I push for it. The system might not penalize me for believing a lie. But there are no guarantees. The law is strange. A day before that hearing, I watch her one last time from the bed and breakfast window. She stands on the porch, hugging herself. The child is asleep, presumably. No lights are on inside except a dim glow from the hallway. She glances left and right, searching for my car. I know she can't see me behind these curtains. I wonder if I should walk over there, talk to her, do something. But a heavier truth settles in me. There's nothing left to say. I pick up my suitcase and walk downstairs, check out. The old lady at the reception gives me a sympathetic nod, as though she recognizes heartbreak. I drive to the motel I've been calling home. I gather my meager belongings, toss them in the trunk. My next step is uncertain, but I know I can't circle this block forever. A kind of finality seeps into my bones. I consider burning the child's pictures or the wedding album, but I realize I left those behind in the house. In that sense, I already burned them. The next morning, at the courthouse, everything moves quickly. My attorney presents evidence that I was misled. The judge, with a stony expression, outlines the complexities. In the end, the official stance is that Alex Griffin is the biological father, the child is recognized as his dependent, and I have no financial obligations unless I choose to fight for paternal rights. A wave of relief and sorrow hits me simultaneously. I hear the words, "unless you choose," but I remain silent. The gavel hits. The case is concluded. At least for now. Sarah stands behind the counsel table, not moving. Alex is at her side. She looks at me one final time with an anguished expression. I hold her gaze, swallowing a lump in my throat. Then I turn and walk out. My heart pounds with an odd mixture of victory and defeat. I'm free, in a sense. But what am I free for? A new life, or just an empty motel existence? Outside the courthouse, the day is bright and crisp. I think about how I used to dream of being a father, raising a family, building a legacy. Now, the dream is dust. I stare at the traffic light, at people crossing the street, their lives normal. I can't stand here. So I drive. I end up leaving the city that same day. I pack up everything from the motel in minutes. I skip out on my deposit, not caring. I just drive until the scenery changes from urban sprawl to open highway. I watch the reflections of telephone poles pass along my windshield. My phone stays off. I keep going until exhaustion forces me to pull into a rest stop. Night falls, and I close my eyes in the driver's seat, letting darkness cradle me. Memories swirl. The child's giggle, Sarah's wedding vows, the reflection in the mirror with "Here died a husband." My chest tightens with an ache that has no name. When morning comes, I realize I can't run forever. But I can't return to that house. I can't be the man I was. So I find a new motel in a quieter town, far enough away that I won't pass that old intersection by chance. I check in under my name, pay in cash for a week, lug my suitcase to a small room that smells like fresh paint. The bed creaks, the curtains are plain. Everything is numb. And yet, deep inside, there's a faint stirring. A question. Who am I now, if I'm not a husband, not a father, not the man I thought? I don't have an answer. All I know is that some part of me died in that house with the mirror scrawl. Some part of me is still haunting those streets, that porch, that nightly vigil. But the body I have now is here, in a new place, an uncertain future unfolding. On the second night in this new motel, I stare into the bathroom mirror. My eyes look hollow, but the lines on my face feel a little less rigid. I notice the marker is still gone, left behind. Instead of scribbling something, I just run hot water, splash it on my face. I brace my hands on the sink, letting the steam soak into my pores. There's a slight release in that. I think about Sarah. She might still believe I'll come back. For years, I gave her everything. My trust, my heart, a shared life. Now she's left with that child who calls me Dada, but belongs to someone else. Alex might stay, or he might vanish. Not my business anymore. My phone is on the nightstand. I see it light up once. Could be anyone. I don't check. I close my eyes, exhaling. There's a dull pang in my chest. Loss, anger, a swirl of confusion. But it's quieter than before. Maybe that's the start of healing, or maybe just exhaustion. The next day, I call my workplace to say I'm taking extended leave. They don't sound surprised. My boss offers half-hearted condolences, maybe aware of rumors. I hang up. I roam the small city, noticing the color of leaves changing, the hush of a bakery at midday. Life goes on around me, normal as can be. I'm an outsider, drifting. As the week draws on, I notice I can go an hour without thinking of Sarah, then 2 hours. I still dream about the boy. I wonder if he's asking for me, if he's waiting. But that part of my life is a closed door. One evening, I buy a small bottle of whiskey and pour it down the sink. No more. I need to feel everything clearly, even if it hurts. The following day, I get up early and run through the quiet streets. My lungs burn. My thoughts circle back to that morning I found Alex in my bed. The morning light on his face, the hush, the swirl of betrayal. Anger squeezes my chest, but I keep running. Sweat pours, heart pounding. By the time I return to the motel, my legs ache, but some part of me feels less trapped. I realize my journey is nowhere close to over. I'm still haunted, still uncertain. But I'm not paralyzed. Something in me has begun to move forward, inch by inch. A month passes. I don't contact Sarah, and she seems to have stopped trying to reach me. Maybe she finally understands that there's no going back. My attorney calls to confirm the final resolution. I have no obligations to the child, and the court acknowledges that I was deceived. Sarah has to handle custody with Alex. The conversation leaves me feeling hollow. I thank him and end the call. I book a flight to somewhere new. I don't even care where. Someplace in the Midwest, a city I've never visited, just to change the scenery. Before I check out of the motel, I pause by the dusty dresser. I find the scraps of court documents I stuffed there. For a second, I consider burning them. Instead, I tear them up into small pieces and toss them in the trash. One last gesture. I press my hand to my chest. My heart still beating. That's something. A slow breath, in and out. I pick up my suitcase and walk out the door into bright daylight. This is how it ends, or how it begins. I'm not the man I was. I'm not the father, or the husband, or anything else that used to define me. But I'm alive, with a chance to find a new shape for my life. I load my suitcase into the trunk, climb into the driver's seat. My phone is silent now. No more messages from Sarah. No more calls from lawyers. The engine rumbles. As I pull onto the highway, a flicker of finality courses through me. A blend of sorrow, relief, and that faint spark of hope. Maybe one day, I'll return to that city. Or maybe I won't. But the memory of those words on the mirror, "Here died a husband," will always mark the point where I shattered. The question of who I am now. Maybe that's my next battle. But for today, I drive, mile after mile, letting the road unravel before me. Each sign I pass feels like a step away from the betrayal, from the man who lost everything. A man who might, in time, become someone else entirely. I don't look back. I focus on the stretch of asphalt ahead, the hum of the engine, and the knowledge that tomorrow is not written yet. My heart still beats, though battered. In that small, relentless rhythm, there's the final truth. I survived. And that, for now, has to be enough.